When Something Has to Change by Cooney. How to know when it's time for a change. Even when I walk through the darkest valley, I will not be afraid, for you are close beside me. Psalm 23:4. Have you ever had a moment in life where you realized that something had to change? You know you can't keep living like this any longer. You maybe tolerated something for a long time, hoping things would get better, but they haven't. It could be a relationship that's not healthy or a job. You never loved it, but it has recently become intolerable. Or maybe it's a church you're part of that once felt like your spiritual home, but something happened. Things are now different. You keep going and going and going and going. And then one day, you come to a decision. I can't do this any longer. I'm done. I'm finished. I'm out of here. Some call it the straw that breaks the camel's back. I call it the crisis stage of transition. It's unsettling, but it's also comforting because you're finally ready to make the change you've been putting off for so long. The only thing left to do is figure out how and when to make your exit. But it's happening soon. The decision has been made. The seventh stage. For years, when I taught about transition, I only explored 6 stages. First, disruption. My settled life is shaken in some area. What was once easy and straightforward has become complicated and full of friction. Second is detachment. I'm not ready to move on yet, but I'm becoming increasingly emotionally detached. Third, separation. At some point, the detachment and distance grow, and I leave. Fourth, disorientation. This is the in between, the messy middle, where there is confusion and a lack of certainty. I've left the old behind, but I haven't stepped into the new. So I feel like everything's in limbo. Fifth is discovery. I'm starting to dream about the future and discovering a new life beyond what I've left behind. There is potential and possibility. I have plans, and I'm hopeful. And sixth is emergence. I'm settling into my new way of life. I look around and can see how much things have changed. I have new rhythms and patterns in my life that are healthy. As I mentioned, I taught these 6 stages of transitions for years, until recently. However, I always had this feeling that I was missing a stage. The 6 stages didn't feel complete. Plus, 7 is a much nicer biblical number. Early this year, one night, I woke up at 3 a.m. Among the myriad of thoughts racing through my mind, the Holy Spirit dropped into my mind the final stage of transition I had been trying to figure out. It was crisis. Between detachment and separation, we often have to reach a crisis point. We often avoid the discomfort of change until it becomes more painful or costly to remain the same. Trust God to bring you to the other side. I thought about the church I had led for 5 years. We had sensed for a few years that our time there was coming to an end. God had even spoken to us to leave, but we stayed. Then came a crisis point. Relationships fell apart. We felt betrayed by people we deeply trusted, and we knew we simply couldn't stay there any longer. Within days, we told the congregation that we were moving on, and just over a month later, we drove away, completely uncertain of what lay ahead. We had no jobs, no home, no income. That marked the beginning of our season of understanding the reality of painful transitions. It's been just over 9 years since our departure from that place. Not everything has been perfect. Life rarely is. But I can honestly tell you that we have experienced the goodness and faithfulness of God in ways I could never have imagined. At times, I didn't know how we would pay our bills, but He has always provided. We didn't know where we were going to live, but we always had a roof over our heads. Our little boy moved around 5 homes in 2 years, but he's grown into a smart, confident kid. What am I trying to tell you? God is with you in the crisis, in the storm, in the heartache, in the betrayal, in the burnout, in the loss, in the deep valley, and in the sickness. Your God is with you, and your God is for you. And he will bring you through this challenging season to the other side. You might not be able to see how things can be better right now, but don't give up, because he has gone before you. He has made a way. He already knows what you need.